what a night it was for the Dragons, and that meant on screen Tyrell Sloan scoring a hat-trick with the Dragons' 28-4 win over the Titans. A new era under Shane Flanagan as well. Gal, what is it about Flano you think he's got this side firing?
Oh, look, he's a basic coach. He works hard. He works very, very hard. They would have had a very hard pre-season, I know that. And he's a guy that you want to play for. I spoke to him on radio yesterday, and I could tell how nervous he was. He was really, really nervous leading into the game. It was probably about 3 o'clock. He was super nervous, but I'm just happy for him that he's back where he should be, doing what he loves doing and doing what he does very well. And I'm glad the Dragons players showed up and played the way they did for him, because he deserves it. I know the effort he would have put in the off-season, and I knew that he would toughen this team up without a doubt. He's a tough coach. Look, whether they've got the ability in the players to get into the semi-finals at the back end of the year, I probably am not too sure, but it's a great start to the season for them, and hopefully they can build on this.
How good is it the key players combining? Hunt gets a try. Yeah. Hunt passing the ball to Sloan. Dummy half, Jacob Little getting out, playing to Sloan. There he is, Ben Hunt playing. So your key players, your creative players are playing together. They are all on one page. And this young man just scored 3 tries. I was out of my chair and clapping at home. I love to see him. We know the talent he's got. We know the tools he's got physically. Hopefully under Shaun Flanagan.
I can tell you now, Flano would be a perfect coach. I spoke to Flano months and months ago about him, and I gave Flano a couple of numbers to people that I used and done certain things with it throughout my career. And hopefully, I don't know if he made contact with them or not. I'm not too sure, but if you can toughen that kid up a little bit, he is a quality player. He's got an enormous amount of talent. He probably lacks a little bit of toughness.
There was a change in him when he was coming around on those shapes. He was coming around, but then pushing through when they'd hit the forward, and he was there. And he got 2 tries off it. Mate, good to see.
Flanagan's the exact type of coach he needs, and hopefully he keeps building.
And I thought Kyle Flanagan was really good.
He was good.
He's under all sorts of pressure. Yeah. Their spine was all on one page. That's the key.
And their tactics were good. Tom Weaver, new young kid, he played 1 game, I think. Kieran Foran was out. Their first 3 or 4 tries all come through that area of the field. And like you said, they're all moving parts. You had Flano go through there, you had Ben Hunt, put Fatala Mariner through. Then you had Sloan come through on the late pass. All at those people, because you could just see they were all nervous. Like the whole of Gold Coast, actually, I've got to say, looked nervous. They were so powerful, St George.
Gal, when you said before you gave Flano some numbers of people who helped you through your career,
not so much help me. Look,
extra coaching?
Yeah, not okay. I did a lot of wrestling, a lot of more combat sports type things, and boxing and things like that. And Flano just asked, do I have any numbers of guys who I did work with, and I just passed them on. I would love to have been able to get involved, but I'm a shark. I'm with the Sharks, and I'm a shark through and through. So
to build up his defence.
Yeah, so I couldn't have been any help to him at all. But as I said, I passed on a couple of numbers to Flano. I'm not sure if he used them or not, but looking at his performance last night, I feel that he may have.
Freddie, the Titans.
Oh. Well, the Dragons gave them so much ball early, and they come up with a try. And they didn't show anything.
Inexperienced halves.
Yeah,
I doubt that they would have played together or trained.
Yeah, no, but still, there's still a lot of other players there. Like, still, the Dragons were just so much more powerful than them.
In the second half, some of the errors they made coming out of their own end, the Titans just gifting the Dragons field position and good ball. That's why they scored so many points.
Well, Kieran Foran's coming to the end of his career, and we know the injuries Kieran's had.
So who was missing? Fafita,
Foran, Jaden Campbell.
Yeah.
But with these 2 inexperienced halves, I thought the Titans would push for a top 8 position with Des going there and their forward pack. But the inexperience in the halves is a real worry. Both young halves. And Tanner Boyd played a lot of dummy half. It just goes to show there's no young, really, halves coming through at any club. There's no one knocking at the door and, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, is it?
No, not that I don't know.
What about when Kieran Foran comes back? Do you think they're a different looking side?
Well, I think so because of the experience of Kieran. But if can Kieran play 24 games in a row? I doubt it. Yeah. So that's a worry for me, the inexperience in the halves, if Kieran isn't there. If Kieran's in there, it totally changes the way they play.
Is it too early for Dragons fans to get excited? Should they be cancelling their holiday plans for September?
It's round 1. Round 1. But I've got to say, when I look through the team, because I remember Joe Eels big fan of Titans going in. And then when I actually looked at the two teams before they kicked off, I went, you know what? Like the Dragons look good on paper. Although the move from Zach Lomax to the wing was good. Telling him what to do is most likely a good thing at the moment for Zach. I think Jack Bird played really good where he was sort of told to do. Jack's been in 5 different positions over the last 2 years. So I think they look really powerful. And I think if they hold the ball, it showed when they hold the ball, they're going to be really hard to hold. Jacob Little out of dummy half was great. Awesome.
Yeah, great win for the Dragons.
Round one's always tough. What did you think of the game yesterday?
I thought it was good, mate. You know, we went out there to do what we wanted to do, and we've had a real theme around this whole pre-season about connecting better as a team and really aligning ourselves into what we wanted to do and accomplish. And we just went out there and said, you know what, boys, we just want to be tough today. That's all it is in the first few rounds, really. You're not going to set the world alight with too much skill and fancy stuff. So we went out there and we completed really well, and we took it to them physically, and I thought that's all you need in a first-round performance.
We saw Mitch Moses struggling with a groin injury pretty early on in the game. How was he after the game? Have you spoken to him at all today?
Yeah, I haven't spoken to him today. I just kind of went to him after the game, and he said he was feeling all right. So he actually put in a few kicks towards the back end of the game, I think, and yeah, I don't know what it was. We'll have to wait and see, but I think he'll be fine.
He's completed so high in the first half. Like, it was a pretty impressive performance. But in the second half, he's had a couple of drops in a row and you let in 2 tries.
Yeah,
Is that a bit of a concern?
Yeah, I guess so. That was one thing that we took out of the game, right? You need to be a bit more resilient there on your try line. And yeah, they kind of scored them a bit too easy for our liking. So I'm sure we'll go away and watch what we did there. But yeah, it's still early days, mate. You know, it's nothing too concerning, but yeah.
Your coach has come out, Brad Arthur, and pretty publicly challenged Dylan Brown, your 5'8", to have a better year. How's Dylan's headspace around that?
I think he's welcoming the challenge, mate, you know. I think he understands that that's what it is, and Brad's just been upfront with him about it, you know. It's on everyone's mind that Dylan last year with what happened off the field kind of impacted our team quite a bit with how we ended up going in the back end of the season. And, you know, Dylan's owned that, mate. To his credit, for a young kid to do that, I have full confidence that he's going to bounce back in 24. Everyone loves a comeback story, you know.
There's a tackle made, I think it was by Nico Hines on Jackson Ford, when they had so much momentum, so much possession, and force an error. I actually wrote him, that's the turning point. In saying that, we got a penalty and a second later kicked out, and then Sandy Cattell dropped the first tackle, so I thought, oh no. But that was a turning point. I thought from that point on, the Sharks were in the game, well and truly in the game. Their defence was absolutely outstanding, and that's the type of win I want to see the Sharks have. Because I feel like in years gone by, we've sort of gone away. We're happy to win by 20 and 30 points, but we'd also lose by that sort of margins. Whereas a nice, tight, gritty game to start the season is exactly what they needed. And the fact they come through with the win, I thought would give them an enormous amount of confidence. And it just goes to show what Craig Fitzgibbon is doing there is working. I was so happy with that result on the weekend, and I'm sure they can build on it.
Well, it was a Craig Fitzgibbon-inspired defensive win.
Absolutely.
Craig Fitzgibbon's a defensive-minded coach, very similar to Craig Bellamy. And it's all about saving tries. The amount of tries they save now through technique, the way they tackle, the way they scramble, it's amazing. In particular, 2 clubs, Cronulla and Melbourne, do it so well. And it's an offshoot of their coaches. Craig Fitzgibbon, his defensive philosophies are unbelievable.
It's because of how hard they work, Joe. It doesn't just happen. You don't just go in the field and it just happens on the field. You work throughout during the week. I get into Sharks training a bit now. I've got no input as to what goes on there, but I watch what they do and look, I'm sure everyone trains hard, don't get me wrong, but how hard they work on their defence day in, day out is just, it goes to show with efforts like this and the amount of ball the Warriors had and the quality side of the Warriors. I've tipped the Warriors to make the grand final this year versus Sharks. I think they're a great side, and depending on how good Shaun Johnson goes, obviously, but the attacking prowess they've got on that side, they could easily have scored more points, but the Sharks defended it really well.
The only way to practice that, what you just saw then, is to actually practice that at training.
Tackle,
so, like, you've got to tackle. You need to tackle at training and nearly at full speed. Like, you need to train at game-like intensity. And that's what, you know, it's hard to do. And it's hard to do over a long period because you just wear each other out. The other part about that game, and talk about the Sharks, was Sifa Talakai actually got tackled, got off the ground, and then got the ball and scored the try. There's plenty of times where plenty of players hit the ground and just stand there looking to wait for the next tackle. So
Gus owes him 100.
No. If you play the ball and score the try, you get 100.
Any worry about the Warriors?
No.
Do you
Any
think
worries?
Well, I've said all along, I think they've got a quality. So I just so much depends on Shaun Johnson. Can he produce what he produced last year? Look, I played with him at
The other one's Wade Egan.
Yeah.
Hurt his elbow.
Yeah, he might, but he'll come back. He might miss a couple of weeks. But Shaun Johnson's just so important. Like, he's so much happier over there living at home with his family and friends, and he played that way last year. Can he produce what he did last year again? That's, I don't know.
A yes or no? Would you put Roger back to fullback?
Who played fullback?
Young
Chance.
fella.
Young fella. He was pretty lightning on his feet. I can't remember his name, but he was...
Well, fullback's the way everyone plays now, the modern day halfback.
Yeah.
Would you
Yeah,
put him back to fullback, yes or no?
Look, I thought this young kid was great. I thought he was electric. I don't know what he's like with his ball skills. I'm not too sure. Roger's maybe in a few weeks' time.
Yes or
Okay,
no?
Joey.
No,
Joey?
not at the moment, no.
Freddie,
no.
yes or no?
You know, I didn't see enough of the game to see how,
I'd say
how
yes.
Roger
A
played.
big fat yes. I'd put Roger to fullback.
Was I the only
He
one
needs more
working?
touches.
Was I the only one working Friday? Was anyone else working?
We were all working, but, just
Mate,
didn't know.
phone. You're looking at your phone and other stuff.
964 days since Roger's last NRL game.
Yeah.
What did you make of...
He didn't have ball. Centres don't get the ball in the modern game. They're just like back rowers. They run from dummy half and they run that lead line. Get into fullback.
Move him
He's
to
one of the best
fullback
fullbacks in the
as
world.
of next week? Would you do it
Mate, watch
straight away?
Manly, how they played their centres. They were good on a shortened field. Mate, what's his name? Kohler.
But how
Kohler
much-
and Ruben Garrick must have got tackled, I reckon, I don't know, half a dozen times each half just from getting early service. And, they didn't make that many breaks, but they just making meters.
He needs more ball, Roger. He needs more ball in space.
But the Warriors, you look at what they did last year, it was an incredible run that they had. They had the whole country on their side. We were over there for their home final. Can you see them replicating that run this year? Yeah.
Yep.
Can they handle the pressure and expectation? Can Shaun handle that? Because I still put it down to what Shaun. They've got a great forward pack. They've got great backs. Look, can Shaun do what he did last year? That's the question. With a bit of pressure and expectation.
So, Joey saluting their round one dominance. 22 years in a row they have come out winners in the opening round. It is quite unbelievable. What stood out for you in this performance against Penrith, Fred?
Their defence, Melbourne's defence, just so desperate for each other. They went in without a couple of stars. You had a couple of kids playing. You had blokes coming back from big injuries. And they just found a way to win once again. It is absolutely incredible, that record.
What about Ryan Pappenhausen making his return? Obviously, he's had quite a nasty run of injuries in recent years, but coming back from that broken ankle that he suffered last year.
It wasn't a night for him in attack, but I thought defensively, look at that. He's saved 3 or 4 tries with just putting his body on the line. He got busted early. His short dropouts, they got the ball back 3 times from that. He nailed them. He landed them on the spot every time, on both sides too. But once again, defensively, just so strong.
I love games like that. I love them because it was action-packed as well as being tight and a defensive-based game. It was just action-packed. But I've got to be honest, Joey's going to disagree with me here because I heard the call. I think Penrith scored a try. I think that try was a try.
Which one?
The one where Jerome Hughes come in on the player.
It's a distraction.
Nah, no one took him out. It was his. He had
made
eyes
it
for the play with the ball only. He had eyes for him. No doubt it was a try. It was a try.
Jerome Hughes had to make a decision to come in
No, he never.
on the back row. Was it Lindsay Smith?
No, he never. You watch his eyes.
ran behind
He
him.
never.
He ran behind him.
He ran behind
took
him.
his
You can't
eyes
run
off-
behind him,
He never
Gal.
took his eyes off the play with the ball. Yeah, look, in ad-lib footy, there's always going to be times where it's going to happen.
Not that close to the line.
Okay,
Not that
so-
close to
so the Knights game.
It's 40, 50 metres
No
up the
try.
try
So the
line.
Knights game, when Tyson Frizzell was standing there and they ran into Tyson and try?
I thought that could have been a try also. Because the player who was
You did
playing-
have a big couple of days in Vegas.
Hey, the Penrith try, I think it was a try. You go and watch his eyes. He never ever looked at the lead runner once. He had nothing but eyes for the ball player. It was ad-lib footy. It was off the cuff football. It wasn't a set block play as we know those Shepherds normally are. I thought
They
it
scored
could
on
have
the
been
back of that, the next set.
That's exactly right.
12-point
Massive turnaround. Massive turnaround.
The defensive effort was incredible to watch, going in at half-time with the scores the way that they were. But we saw at the very end of the game as well just how much the players were out on their feet. The exhaustion, the pure exhaustion. How much does that take out of them for next week going forward as well? You don't think it does?
No, they'll recover a week. They'll have a light week. They played Friday night, so I'd say they would have rested. They'll probably rest till Tuesday. No, that's your job. Get up and play again next week.
I'm with you there, Joey. I thought for a round one performance, like what a way to start the year. Both those games on the Friday, the Sharkies game leading to this one, was absolutely outstanding.
Very humid, tough conditions, and the ground was quite slippery. There's a lot of grass and very slippery. There was plenty of drop ball, and the fact the intensity was so high, which caused a lot of the drop ball just from players even, just first game, just thinking players are coming in, because the amount of cold drops, there was no one not getting tackled, but two teams played so intense for the first round.
For the Melbourne Storm going forward as well, someone who was missing, Cameron Munster, and we actually spoke to him about his injury after the game, and he said that it's quite a complicated one. They're not really sure what exactly is wrong in that region.
Myself and Freddie, I carried mine for 18 months, and if you don't jump on top of it and get the right treatment, it'll hang around for months and months and months. This is a real crucial injury, not only for the Storm but Cameron Munster.
Oh, for years. I had 5 operations in 2 years.
Linger. I'm the same. I had 4 operations on it.
So what did you do? Did you take a lengthy stint off straight away?
It's very hard to train, and you got to do all this core work. But I went and saw this lady in Cronulla who got in with her elbows and fixed me. I've seen so many players do them with back and hips and groins. So you got to get the right treatment. You got to be on top of it. And the thing is, you think you're right, and then you stop. Your program.
It's all different for everyone, though. It's not like, it's core for someone, it's hamstrings for someone. It's just like, it's some sort of imbalance, because even Cam Munster said he's had, they've had x-rays and MRIs, and it's one of those things that there's no science and maths to it. It's just something, there's an imbalance somewhere for different athletes, and, at the moment, it's just...
When it's bad, you cannot play with it. You've got no power, you can't run,
you can't get in a car. I remember trying to get in a car. You got to lift your own leg up to get out of a car. That's awful.
So how long do you see him being sidelined for?
Well, we don't know. If he gets on top of it and responds, it could be a month, it could be 4 to 6 weeks. But if it doesn't improve, it could be 3 or 4 months.
Right.
We just don't know. He doesn't know, and no one knows.
Yeah, let's hope for Cameron Munster he does improve and improve quickly as well. Coming up shortly, the time has come. Andrew Johns will be hosting his very own segment.
Oh.
He wanted to be the host of A Current Affair, but instead he got...
Dr. Phil, look out. If anyone's got any problems, come see Uncle Joey.
Is Shaun Lane still here? Is Shaun Lane?
Yes, he'll be sticking around for the doco later on. But
Masters in Psychology.
It's in next door. We've got a padded cell.
This year, NRL on 9 is your one-stop shop for all footy.
That's right, Freddie. Not about the highlights. Action. 7 days a week.
Billy and Gus podcast. Get that on your drive on the way home. Immortal Behaviour. Grab a seat on the couch for that. And, of course, my favourite, Freddie and the Owner.
The best footy brains, the biggest games.
Don't trust the algorithm. Subscribe to NRL on 9 and get all your entertainment there.